Welcome back. And in another development, Nigerian electricity output dropped by 1.64% year-on-year during the last quarter of 2024. Now, this is according to a release by the CBN yesterday. Aside this, there are a lot of issues surrounding Nigeria's electricity or energy sector that has left several questions on the minds of consumers, ranging from sustainable energy to fossils, a lot of aspects to be discussed. And of course, the main aim of this discussion is to look at how Nigeria can bridge the electricity gap and how states can independently generate and distribute electricity, which can or will boost the economy of the nation. Hopefully, it can reduce expenditure on electricity purchase and by extension, reduce load on our national grid. Well, we have joining us virtually an energy expert, a licensed engineer with the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, and also a certified engineer with the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency. Welcome to the program, Engineer Ekemi Umo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for
joining us.
All right, we're looking at the energy sector, and just the recent release by the CBN indicates that there has been a drop by 1.69% in electricity output. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
That's obviously not good. That's a decline in power generation. And it's not surprising at all because there are lots of factors that are determinants in the efficiency of our energy sector.
Okay, so then how then can we keep up with this drop to ensure that there's a sustainability?
I think the most important is understanding the sector. Okay, let me digress a bit, right? So let's have a practical view of what the power sector looks like, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna engage you. So let me just explore your curiosity. I'm gonna engage you. So picture yourself as a client, right? And the power sector is the project you're trying to execute. So if you're it's quite personal to you, what would be your expectations? So let's picture the power sector as you have a plot of land and then you have a house and you're not exactly getting it. What would you do? So like right now, I'll picture the power sector as a dilapidated bungalow in a large plot of land. What would expectations like? Let me know what you expect from the power sector.
Wow. That's, I don't know how to put that scenario as a bungalow in this state and with how advanced things have gone. But then what can we do to ensure that we advance in the energy sector? It appears we're far behind. What can be done to ensure perhaps an overhaul of the energy sector to give us maximum output?
Okay, so why I was trying to digress a bit is because we've been having discussions in the power sector over time, and I feel like there's something lacking, which is a comprehensive understanding of what the power sector really lacks, right? So that's why I actually brought that, but let me help you. So if you were to look at the power sector as your personal project, right? You definitely need a plan. Like for a project, say a building, you definitely need a plan, and you definitely picture the things you want. So I think the most important thing is for us to have a plan, because we do not have a plan in this sector. So when we're talking about reformation is like an autonomous driver, right? We can't exactly have a reformation when we do not have a structure. Okay. So let's say if you want the power sector, if you're picturing a modern power sector, probably having modern apartments, right? You're actually going to want to see that in the plan first. So the power sector needs to have a plan, like a ground plan, so that they can actually identify the next steps to take.
Okay, but in your opinion, do you think renewable energy in form of solar, wind can help stabilize what we have on ground right now, pending when we come up with a plan that is more reasonable to you?
We can't exactly continue to invest without a plan. I pictured the power sector as a dilapidated bungalow, right? So it's like having to like invest. Let's say you're having to like put your solar panels on a leaking roof. If you do not deal with the foundation of the problem, there is really no need for further investment in this sector.
Okay.
So if we're looking at solar, we're definitely going to be looking at solar and integrating it with the grid.
Yes.
In terms of large-scale solar,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's not to work with problems that we have now. We have an aging transmission and distribution infrastructure. We cannot exactly continue to improve without a roadmap.
Okay. Now, you've clearly highlighted the inefficient infrastructure on ground. What would you suggest we do moving forward to get past all of this?
I suggest we have a plan, a pencil plan for the state. Good enough, we can now contribute our own power. So the first step really, before we can invest in the power sector, before any further development, is to have a pencil plan.
Okay.
Where we can actually develop one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up.
All right, but there's also a little bit of concern which I'd like to bring in here. I'd like to capture a bit because beyond the fact that we just have to work with the government, people have also started investing by themselves in getting their own solar panels and giving themselves, like we usually say in the Nigerian language, will be our own self-government and give us light. But then there's this recent surge. There was a video on social media where a lady was trying to put out fire from her inverter and solar panel. And the discussion was now on the aspect of having some fire incidents coming from the solar. Is that possible? And is there a way to even prevent this?
So electricity, okay, for example, the water sector had to go through that same phase. You know, we have moved past that phase in the water sector where we had to depend on the government to provide water for us, right? And today everybody can provide water for themselves. But unfortunately, electricity is not like water. There are the dangers, you know, associated with electricity, especially when you do not do it well. So the power sector is getting to that point, but unfortunately we must cut that, because if it escalates to that point where we do not have a grip over the power sector, it's going to be, I don't even, if I use the word dangerous, yes, it is going to be very dangerous.
Why?
Because, yeah.
Why would it be very dangerous?
Oh, would you play with electricity, if I'm asked?
Trying to generate your own electricity makes it dangerous. Is that what you're saying? Can it not be done safely?
No. No. So what I'm saying is you can't exactly play with electricity, no matter how familiar you are, right?
Okay.
You can't play with electricity, yeah. So, you know, so as there are regulations as to how those things should be done, and then there are also protective measures that you need to ensure, you know, so that you prevent disasters associated with the power sector.
All right. I wish we could talk some more on it, but I hope we do get to reconnect with you some other time to talk about issues on the energy sector. Thank you very much, Engineer Kim Moore.
We appreciate you, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing your insights with us. And that's where we'll draw the curtains for today's edition of the program. Thank you for staying with us. To join us again tomorrow for another interesting package. I am Jennifer Pius.
And I am Aberu Swagene Ebo. Enjoy the rest of our programming.